The rain was coming down in sheets as I drove home from another late night at the office. I'm Lysander, 46, a software engineer. My life in Seattle had always felt stable, predictable, maybe too predictable. I loved my wife, Imogen, but lately something felt off. A distance had grown between us, a silence that echoed in our once vibrant home. I pulled into the driveway of our craftsman-style house, the familiar scent of wet cedar filling the air. Usually Imogen would have the porch light on, a small beacon welcoming me home. Tonight it was dark. I shrugged it off, figuring she was already asleep. Inside, the house was eerily quiet. "Imogen," I called out, my voice swallowed by the stillness. No response. I walked into the living room, the only light source the faint glow of the streetlights filtering through the blinds. That's when I saw it, a crumpled piece of paper on the coffee table. It was a receipt from a small bistro downtown, dated earlier that evening. "Imogen and guest," it read. My heart clenched. Imogen never went out without telling me. And guest? Who was guest? A knot formed in my stomach as I climbed the stairs to our bedroom. The door was slightly ajar, a sliver of light spilling into the hallway. I pushed it open, and the scene that greeted me shattered my world. Imogen was in our bed, tangled in the sheets with another man. His name was Quentin. I didn't recognize him. The air was thick with the scent of cheap cologne and betrayal. They were both asleep, oblivious to my presence. Time seemed to stop. My breath caught in my throat, a silent scream building inside me. The room spun, the familiar surroundings morphing into a grotesque parody of the life I thought I knew. I wanted to shout, to scream, to tear them apart, but I was frozen, paralyzed by the sheer magnitude of the betrayal. I stumbled backward out of the room and down the stairs. I needed to get out to escape the suffocating reality that had just crashed down upon me. I grabbed my keys and wallet and fled back into the storm. The rain was relentless, mirroring the turmoil inside me. I drove aimlessly, the city lights blurring into streaks of color. Where could I go? Who could I turn to? My mind raced, trying to make sense of the senseless. Why? Why would Imogen do this? What had I done wrong? I ended up at a small, out-of-the-way bar, the kind of place where you could disappear into the shadows. I ordered a whiskey neat and downed it in one gulp. The burn in my throat did little to soothe the burning in my heart. Hours passed. I nursed my drink, lost in a haze of disbelief and pain. The bartender, a grizzled man with kind eyes, offered a silent nod of understanding. I wasn't alone in my misery, I realized. This kind of pain was universal. Finally, as the first rays of dawn began to creep through the windows, I knew I had to face reality. I had to go back home. I had to confront Imogen. The drive back was agonizing. Each mile felt like an eternity. I rehearsed what I would say, what I would ask, but the words all seemed inadequate, too small to contain the enormity of my emotions. I parked in the driveway, the rain having finally subsided. The house looked the same, deceptively peaceful in the morning light. But I knew the peace was a lie. The house was now a battlefield, a monument to betrayal. I walked inside, my footsteps heavy on the stairs. I found Imogen in the kitchen making coffee. She looked up as I entered, her eyes widening in surprise. "Lysander, you're home early," she said, her voice strained. Quentin was gone. I didn't say anything. I just stared at her, the image of her in bed with Quentin seared into my mind. My silence was enough. Her face paled. She began, but I cut her off. Who was he? I asked, my voice flat, devoid of emotion. She hesitated, then her shoulders slumped. "His name is Quentin. He's someone I met at a conference a few weeks ago." "A conference," I repeated, incredulous. So this was just a one-time thing. She looked away, unable to meet my gaze. It wasn't supposed to happen," she mumbled. "But it did, didn't it?" I said, my voice rising. "You slept with him in our bed in our house. How could you do that, Imogen? How could you betray me like that?" Tears streamed down her face. "I don't know," she sobbed. "I'm so sorry, Lysander. I didn't mean for it to happen. It just happened. It just happened," I exploded. "What kind of excuse is that? You made a choice, Imogen. You chose to betray me, to break our vows, to destroy our marriage." We argued for hours, the same accusations and apologies circling endlessly. I demanded to know everything, every detail of their affair. She confessed to seeing him several times over the past few weeks, meeting him for lunches, drinks, and more. With each revelation, the pain intensified. It was like a knife twisting in my gut. each turn more agonizing than the last. I couldn't understand how the woman I loved, the woman I had shared my life with for 15 years, could be capable of such deceit. As the day wore on, the anger began to subside, replaced by a profound sense of sadness. The realization that our marriage was over, that the life we had built together was crumbling before my eyes, was almost unbearable. "I want a divorce," I said finally, the words heavy with finality. Imogen didn't argue. She just nodded, her face etched with despair. "I understand," she whispered. The following weeks were a blur of lawyers, paperwork, and the painful process of dividing our lives. The house was sold, our belongings split, and the memories we had shared slowly faded into the background. I moved into a small apartment downtown, a sterile, impersonal space that felt nothing like home. I threw myself into my work, burying myself in code, trying to escape the emptiness that consumed me. One evening, a few months after the divorce was finalized, I received a call from an unknown number. I hesitated, then answered it. "Hello," I said. "Lysander, it's Quentin," the voice on the other end said. My blood ran cold. "What do you want?" I asked, my voice tight. "I need to talk to you," he said. "Can we meet?" I almost hung up, but something in his voice, a hint of desperation, stopped me. "Where?" I asked. "We met at a coffee shop near my apartment." Quentin looked terrible. His eyes were bloodshot, his clothes rumpled, and he had a 5 o'clock shadow that looked more like a week's worth of neglect. "What's going on, Quentin?" I asked, my voice wary. He took a deep breath. "Imogen left me," he said. I stared at him, stunned. "What? She left me a few weeks ago," he repeated. "She said she made a mistake, that she couldn't be with me. She said she still loved you." I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. "She still loved me, after she cheated on me with you, after she destroyed our marriage." "I know," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "I know I messed up. I never should have gotten involved with her. I was an idiot." "You were," I agreed. "But why are you telling me this, Quentin?" "What do you want from me?" "I don't know," he said, shaking his head. I just wanted you to know the truth. She used us both, Lysander. She used us and then threw us away." As much as I hated Quentin, I couldn't help but feel a flicker of sympathy for him. He was just another victim of Imogen's selfishness. "I'm sorry, Quentin," I said, my voice softening slightly. "But there's nothing I can do. My marriage is over. My life is different now. I need to move on." He nodded, his eyes filled with pain. "I understand," he said. "I just hope you can find some peace, Lysander. You deserve it." I watched as he walked away, disappearing into the crowd. I sat there for a long time, lost in thought. Imogen had used us both, and in the end we were both left with nothing. I never spoke to Imogen again. I heard through mutual friends that she was struggling, that she regretted her actions, but I couldn't bring myself to care. The pain she had inflicted on me was too deep, the betrayal too profound. It took a long time, but eventually I started to heal. I focused on my work, my friends, and my own well-being. I learned to forgive myself for not seeing the signs, for trusting Imogen blindly. Life is unpredictable, I realized. It can throw you curveballs when you least expect it, but it's how you respond to those challenges that defines you. I chose to move forward, to rebuild my life, to find happiness again. And I did. It wasn't the life I had imagined, but it was a good life, a life filled with purpose and meaning. I learned that betrayal can break you, but it can also make you stronger. It can teach you valuable lessons about trust, forgiveness, and the importance of self-love. The rain still falls in Seattle, but now when I hear it, I no longer feel the pain of betrayal. I feel the strength of survival. I feel the hope of a new beginning. I feel the quiet satisfaction of knowing that I am finally, truly free. Remember, betrayal can be a devastating experience, but it doesn't have to define you. You have the power to heal, to rebuild, and to create a new life for yourself. Don't let the pain consume you. Let it empower you. You are stronger than you think.